Mwamukiri magongo na mandwairo Ngai uri mbere tutingihotwo nithu Mwene nyaga twakuhoya.
The social life and religious practices of the people of Kikuyu. In the 17th to 19th century, the typical Kikuyu home was a homestead organized around a single extended family, with males taking several wives, where each wife lived in their own hut. The buildings of the homestead were protected by an encircling stockade of wood or bush. Buildings were made from mud, stone and vegetable matter, and there was a tradition that a Kikuyu hut had to be built within one day, which meant a good deal of planning, preparation and communal effort was required. The reason for such a short deadline was because the Kikuyu believed that an unfinished house, if left overnight, would attract unwanted spirits who might take possession of it. The Kikuyu had no tribal chiefs, but the population as a whole was divided into several clans or sub-clans. Extended family groups or bare within these clans were headed by a number of senior related males who were ranked according to their group. Inheritance went through the male line. Each bare could be composed of anywhere from 30 to 300 people. Even though the Kikuyu have abandoned the individual homestead for each village, the bare remains an important social unit. The importance of family ties is also reflected in the belief that the spirits of ancestors were present and available to help the living. Grouping people into age ranges was very important for social status, as were rites of passage for adolescents, which included male and female circumcision. The predominance of family units and the physical barriers between groups, many occupied individual mountain ridges, meant that the Kikuyu people had no centralized government, bureaucracy, or even perhaps a sense of belonging to a particular wider ethnic group. The situation of politically and culturally isolated communities was heightened by the strong localized traditions such as oral histories or specific family groups. The religious practices. As noted, ancestors worship was a key part of the Kikuyu pre-colonial religious practices. Believed to be capable of helping the living, ancestors were offered certain sacrifices and rituals called Kuruta Magogona. It was believed that the ancestors lived below the ground, but they could appear amongst the living when seeking to communicate with them. Illness was considered a typical form of such communication. The Kikuyu gods also benefited from such rituals, the supreme god being Gai, while others may have been envisaged as supernatural beings without names or form. Gai was thought to dwell on Mount Kenya, and so all the rituals were directed to that mountain. A third group of spirits is those who meant to do harm to the living. Religious ceremonies which aimed to please all these supernatural beings and call upon their assistance in daily life included the offering of food and drink, animal sacrifices, that is sheep and goats, dancing, the temporary observation of taboos and ritual sexual intercourse. Rituals were not carried out by priests but were reserved domain of community elders, often performed under a particular tree called Mugumo tree, which was considered sacred. Next, we are going to check on foreign invasions and conflict of the people of Kikuyu, as well as the Kikuyu and the modern Kenya. Stay tuned. My name is Steve Wairimu.
Tuhoyaga wendani na gitio na tha nyingi cia wendo wa ruriri uiguano wa Gikuyu